Hey, what is up YouTube? This is Cybergon, back again for another video. Now, when I started the reboot of this channel, if you will, one of the earliest videos that I did was my top 10 favorite archetypes. Well, kind of running out of things to talk about, so I figured I'd go ahead and do the opposite. My top 10 least favorite archetypes. Now, this list is going to comprise entirely of decks that I personally think are just the single most obnoxious things on Earth that make me sick to even think about, and I would not mind if they got beat by the band stick and just in general wiped off the face of the Earth. Some of them already have, but we'll get more on that as the video goes on. But enough of my rambling. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Number 10. Alright, so as mentioned in my top 10 favorite archetypes, I'm a fan of the Boojins, which means back during the Boojin Fire Fist format, you can easily tell which side I went with, which means I kind of viewed the Fire Fist as a rival. However, it was really more like that story of the tortoise and the hare. Guess which one I was? I was the goddamn tortoise, and unfortunately the story always didn't go the way it should. A lot of the times, Fire Fist was just so aggro and aggressive, I couldn't really deal with it, and it drove me insane. Plus, just the constant bear popping, I quickly ran out of turtles, to say the least. And there wasn't a whole lot I could do about that, especially in the earlier days, since Hare didn't come out for a while, and by the time it did, Boojins were kind of starting to become irrelevant. I mean, so were Fire Fist, admittedly, but that just means I didn't have the cards I really needed to fully combat Fire Fist by the time that they were already well and good. So, for me, it was just one of those unfortunate circumstances of time. I mean, Fire Fists aren't really doing that much anymore, so I guess it's not that big of a deal, but just for the oh-so-fond memories, they're sitting nice and cozy at my 10th least favorite archetype. Oh, the Dragon Rulers. How my hatred for them has spurned. Although lately it is a lot less, but we'll get on that part later. Truthfully, I didn't mind the Dragon Rulers at first. When I first heard about them, I was hyped as hell, just like everybody else. Are you telling me I get elemental dragon support? Sign me up! Little did I realize the hell I would have to endure because of these arrogant, stupid dragons. I got to enjoy them for a good few formats. Admittedly, 3 Tempest, 3 Ravines in my Dragoonity deck was one of the most hilariously fun times I've ever had with the deck. And then Ravine got banned. Why? That was not the problem card. I hate when Konami does this. And then the worst part is, in order to keep my deck good, I had to keep running Tempest in order to have some search power. But I couldn't search ducks. He just searched the dragons, which were never an issue. So he was just sitting there, mocking me like an arrogant little dick. But now the tables have turned, and all of a sudden Ravine is back and the rulers are banned. So I guess it's all water under the bridge, but at the same time, for the oh-so-fond memories I had with the little bastards, Dragon Rulers will always have a nice, cozy spot on my list of least favorite archetypes, even if it is closer to the bottom now. Anyway, number 8. You know what's funny? Going through this list, I've started to realize how many of these decks I actually hate I never see anymore. But regardless, it doesn't do anything to get rid of the hatred and lingering disdain I have towards these decks. And Utopia is no exception. I can't remember the last time I've seen a Utopia deck, and I'm happy about that. When they were a thing, they were just absurd. First of all, if you ran the ZWs, they were damn near impossible to kill once they went off. Admittedly, they could break kind of hard, but if they didn't, then all of a sudden you would have to deal with like some 5,000 attack Utopia that can't be targeted, destroyed, and its equips are immune to everything too. And it was... why? It was so unnecessary. You could make base Utopia, the worthless 2500 negates battles one, good. Not just good, but broken as all hell. And then, God forbid, you went into one of the bigger ones. Most that I see now, they're just a rank up build. It's okay, go into Utopia Ray, activate rank up magic, bring out one of the rank 5s or beyond, or Utopia Beyond, and all of a sudden you have a high rank Utopia monster with freaking 4 materials under it. That's absurd! It's just, I don't understand why Utopia was the single most encouraged boss monster, I guess. The one that has gotten the most support. I don't get it. The Zexal monster gets it? I mean, yeah, Dark Magician's got some stuff, but at the end of the day, he's still just a Dark Magician. Best he's really got is Ayatamias. Neos has the Neospatians, whoop-de-flippin'-do. And, yeah, Stardust is getting some stuff, but it doesn't make it, like, an idea of a Stardust deck any more playable. Heck, even Yusei didn't run a Stardust deck. He just ran a deck that could summon Stardust. That's what most people do with Stardust. That's what you do with generic extra deck monsters. But Utopia? No, 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 no. He has so much stuff, he can make his own damn deck. And it's infuriating to fight. Number 7. Well, this couldn't be a top 10 least favorite archetypes deck without Dark World, now could it? Oh, where to begin with Dark Worlds? First of all, the people who played them. They are some of the single most arrogant players I have ever seen, because they don't seem to realize how dumb their deck is. I'll admit there's dumb decks out there. I run a few of them myself, Infernity being the worst accuser of it. But even then, at least Infernity, you have to kind of know what you're doing. With a lot of really dumb decks that are annoying to fight, you still have to know what you're doing. I've never touched a Dark World deck, and I'm willing to bet I could easily play a deck if someone just handed me one, without me even having to look at it. Because they're just so cut and paste, so... The deck plays itself. It's an autopilot deck for people who want to feel like they can play Yu-Gi-Oh! But really can't. It's activate X support card, discard for cost, special summon your discarded monster, just swarm the field with stupid shit while also gaining advantage through the actual effect of the card other than special summon your monster. Bring one of them back so that you can, bring back your Grappa after you've discarded it for destruction, and then just re-discard the other one so that you can special summon it back and just swing. And it's not like, there's only a few cards that do that. No, every card that is run in the Dark World monster set either special summons itself from discard or is a Grappa. And then all the support cards have discard effects. It's so stupid. And then the people who use them, they just think, oh, look at me, I'm good. I have Dark Worlds. I'm kicking all kinds of butt. No, you're not. The deck is. Admittedly, Light Sworns kind of do the same thing, but at least that's more chance-based, and you have to kind of know what you're doing with it. Otherwise, you're just going to deck yourself out. But with Dark World, nope, just do whatever the hell you want. Doesn't make a damn bit of difference. Fuck Dark Worlds. Next. This one's kind of bittersweet for me, just because I do actually like Cleese conceptually. Now, what I mean by that is, I kind of like the way that they're supposed to work, where you have the lower level monsters that you use as tribute fodder to out the big ones, which then gain their effects off that. The smaller ones have effects when they're tributed, and ultimately you need to get at your big boss monster. That's fine. I can live with that. That's a cool idea. I have 2 problems with Cleese that put them on this list and make them pain in the ass to fight. First, they are all pendulums. They do not all need to be pendulums. That is too much. The fact that you can just pull any of them out and destroying them is essentially pointless is unnecessary. We've seen pendulum decks already that don't just have them all as pendulums. Yosenju's is one of them, and they're a fun deck to play because there's only 3 pendulum monsters in the deck as opposed to all of them. I say make the ones level 6 or 8, whichever it is, the ones that you need to tribute, summon to gain their effects. Don't make them pendulums. Just make them effect monsters. That's fine. That way when they're gone for good. And you can just... you can still pendulum summon them. It's just not from the extra deck. And that's okay. I can live with that. They can still... they're effective when they're special summoned. They become weaker. That's fine. I can totally live with that. Also, you need to take the level 6 monsters that are tribute fodder primarily and make them what their effects should be when they're normal summoned, which is just have them be level 4, 1800 attack monsters. That's okay. Don't make them get weaker, just have that be what they are. They can stay pendulum monsters, I don't care. They're tribute fodder. Go ahead, bring them back every turn. I don't give a shit. Why I have an issue with this is skill drain. Now, I know skill drain is at 1, and depending on how many formats ahead you may be seeing this, it may have changed, but when I'm making this, skill drain is at 1, but they do still have their own versions of skill drain, which still make it annoying to fight. So, what should just be a weak low-level monster suddenly becomes a ginormous beatstick that I have to fight my way around, and even if I destroy, guess what? It's just coming back next turn. It's so unnecessary, the amount of stuff they can do. And I'm convinced that those two issues would solve it. If they were just 1800s, fine, I can get rid of that, no problem. I can work around 1800. The big ones, if they're gone and gone for good and you have to like soul charge to bring them back, fine, I can live with that. But they don't need to all be these big, powerful pendulum monsters. It's just too much. If they fix that, Cleese would be fine. I love Cleese. I've messed with them and I enjoy them. I just feel like a dick using them. That's really all I got on that. It's just the concept that Konami went a little too far with and made them from what could have been a really fun deck to one of the most annoying, hated decks in the current meta. Number 5. Yay! Time for another trip down memory lane. Woo. Alright, so, again, this deck is not one that is hated for what it is now, but more of what it used to be and the ginormous pain in the ass it was to fight. Inzectors, for me, was one of those decks that when I saw, I just cringed. Like, I saw an actual bug, my skin just started to crawl. And that's because of Hornet and Centipede. And Dragonfly too, but mostly Hornet and Centipede, because that's the one I saw most often. Just... how many times are you allowed to pop everything I own again? That feels a little unnecessary. The fact that I just had to sit there watching them go, Centipede, Hornet, Hornet effect, pops, Centipede, grab Hornet, Hornet effect, pops, another Hornet, equipped. Stop it! Let me have field presence, damn it! I don't run a single deck that does that without the use of a Dark Hole. Okay? Now, I get multi-popping effects. That's fine. Again, I run Dragunities, I know the Legionnaire Atlas thing, but that's 2 cards. Just 2, not 20. It's just, it's so unnecessary how many times they could pop. So when Dragonfly and Hornet got put to 1, I was happy that I didn't have to deal with that anymore. I mean, to some extent, but it's not as brokenly excessive as it once was. Again, kind of like the Rulers and Fire Fist, this is really just kind of water under the bridge. I'm just being a bitter old man about it. Anyway, number 4. Oh, where do I even begin on this one? Tellarites are one of the single most infuriating decks I have ever faced. And I am convinced that Tellarites are hated for the same reason that Evil Swarm was hated. Ironically, I don't mind Evil Swarm as much, but still. They do the same damn move every single time. And I don't mean like, you know, just variations that lead to the same thing. No. The same move every time. It's always summon Vega, use Vega's effect, special summon Altair, Altair's effect, special summon one of them from the graveyard, preferably the searching one. I don't remember his freaking names, I don't care. Use that, search out Vega again, or Altair, whoever you need, and then just overlay into one of your big Xyz monsters. Usually the generic rank 4 that they have for their own archetype, but they'll go into other stuff too. It's a rank 4 spam deck that literally uses the same move over and over again. Every time I fight a Tellarite player, it's the same thing, and it's annoying having to deal with that. What's the point? Every time I destroy, you're just going to do it again. It's not like you don't have 20 copies of these things in your extra deck. Don't ask how. I didn't do the math. But regardless, it's just infuriating having to fight these things because they just do the same damn thing. Spice it up a bit. I mean, jeez. And it doesn't help that there's so many good rank 4s in the game now. It's not like back when Xyz were still a new thing and all we really had was Utopia and Zen mains for good Xyz monsters. No, now there's freaking 101, Castell, Dark Rebellion, the Volval Chain, all these good cards. And they're all generic. Don't even be started on Exciton Knight. I do not want to bring this guy up. That's a rant for an entirely different day, and that would go on forever. But regardless, it's too good at what it does because it only does one thing. Just one. It doesn't spice it up. I've never seen a variation other than just those 3 cards. Occasionally someone will bring out the burning. And when it does burn damage, that's usually after they've exhausted everything else and they just need something else to search out, which is dumb. Point in case, I hate Tellarites. They're boring, they're bland. Moving on, number freaking 3. Honestly, I didn't realize how angry this list was going to make me. This is painful at this point, and it's only getting worse. We're in the top 3 now. I don't know how I'm going to get past this. Anyway, Ritual Beasts. Ritual Beast Tamers. Ritual Ultimate, whatever the fuck you want to call them. Hate these things. And I've only fought them once. I've only faced one Ritual Beast deck. And it was the most infuriating experience of my life. Why? I couldn't do anything. Well, I could, but it didn't make a difference because nothing happened. Opponent tried to fusion summon one of the monsters. Alright, fine, whatever. I'll just go ahead and bottomless. Chain effect. Put it back in the extra deck, summon 2 banished monsters. Do it again. Alright, Fiendish Chain. Nope, just doing that again, undoing it. Compulse? Nope, don't undo it, redo it again. Why? I waste 3 back row on these guys and nothing happens out of it? That's stupid. They should not be that good. It's so complex, I don't understand how they work, so I can't properly counter them. Obviously, if I have to wait 3 freaking back row just to try and kill these stupid things, it was just infuriating. And then plus, they ran Dimensional Fissure, which in the grand majority of decks is a middle finger. It's just, I don't understand how they work. When they do work, I just have to sit there and watch as all my hopes and dreams fade away. And I didn't even think they were that good at first because I couldn't figure them out. They just seemed so random. Now that I see how they work, I think it's annoying to fight because you literally just have to sit there and watch. Every time you try and do something, they'll just say no. Not even through like a negation effect. They'll just undo their monster and then redo it magically. So everything you do is pointless. Oh my god. Number 2. Who wants some grilled chicken? You? No, you don't. Not like this. Not the Fire Kings. No, that's the kind of grilled chicken you don't want. Oh my god. I realize compared to all the other decks I've said, these guys aren't necessarily meta at all. I don't even know why I did the air quotes. They're not even remotely meta. That does not, however, make them any less annoying. There's really only one time where they're truly annoying. That is when 2 Garunics are involved. One in the graveyard, getting ready to be special summoned. The other on the field, having already dark hold and nuked your field. At that point, you know, unless you can manage to do something to interrupt the chain within this turn, you're going to have to deal with black hole after black hole after black hole over and over and over again. It's so infuriating to deal with. You can't establish field presence with this, and just every time I fight them, I keep finding myself getting angrier and angrier over it. It just puts a bad taste in my mouth. I mean, it's number 2 on my list of most hated archetypes, for crying out loud. Doesn't that say enough? Don't know what else I can say about it. The rest of the deck's not that bad on a whole. It's just the stupid chicken loop. Alright, let's get this over with. Number 1. I don't even know what really needs to be said on this one. This is kind of one of the most universally hated decks by everyone who doesn't play it. I mean, do you like Burning Abyss? You don't like Burning Abyss. Even if you think you do, you don't like it. It is such an unnecessarily plus-heavy deck by doing nothing. It is literally Dark Worlds 2.0, and I do not even think I need to say what's wrong with that. Literally everything that they do, pluses. You need discard for effect? Fine, you're either going to search or special summon from somewhere. You're going to banish something? Something's going to go well for you. Oh, you're out of the tour guide? You're going to go into a Dante, detach your Burning Abyss monster for Dante's effect? Well, on top of the detached material, you're also going to get whatever Burning Abyss monsters you happen to send into the graveyard, whatever you mill off. You're going to get their effects too. Don't even get me started on Dante. It's basically just... He's a 25 beater when you need him and 25 wall every other moment of the time. Especially since when he attacks, he just switches right back to freaking defense mode. I don't get it. Why? Why does Konami hate us? Why do they make an archetype that is so unnecessarily good? And mind you, everything I said, it doesn't even include Fire Lake. Fire Lake's an entirely different ballpark. That's just... Okay, let me just plus off 2 cards and blow up 3 years. That's like a... Sheesh, I don't even feel like doing the math on that one. It's like a +5 at least. It's so unnecessary, everything that it does. And then Dante recycles the stuff. It's not even like they're really wasting resources. They're just putting them somewhere else. And this deck can even do chaos. This deck can freaking do chaos and go into freaking BLS and just say, no, I'll do what I want with you. And it's so unnecessary. Oh my god. Why? Oh my god. That's all I got on this one. I'm pattered out at this point. I don't think I need to explain this any further. You guys know that they're annoying. I know that they're annoying, so that's my video. Most hated archetypes of all time. Feel a little dead inside after doing this. So many bad decks. Ugh. Just let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and also we're almost at the new segment thing, so if you guys can get me the 400 subscribers, I'll tell you what it'll be, and then I'll give you a hint of what it'll be or whatever. Bye.